Superman lost his powers, but whose fault is that? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I bring you trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read dramatically back to you all alterations to the panels, text, and images, are to prevent copyright issues, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This has been a long time coming. Things began with Superman learning that he had a new power known as the Solar Flare. Then he fought a villain known as Hodor Root that learned his secret identity due to how slow he was getting. He tried to blackmail Superman, but instead Lois revealed Superman's secret identity to the entire world to prevent Hodor from getting away with it. This led to a series of events in which Superman lost most of his powers, and the Fortress of Solitude rejected him, unable to tell that he was the Man of Steel. Superman came to terms with his missing powers, and he learned that he could still be a hero. But after finally stopping a few villains with his old friends, he learned the truth behind everything. Vandal Savage is the mastermind behind this whole plot. He took Superman's powers, and he's been running him through the gambit. But why? A long time ago on the planet Krypton, a comet was about to hit the planet, killing millions of people. A man that the people of Krypton would call crazy created a missile and launched it into space in hopes of deflecting the comet. It worked, but he didn't destroy the comet. He sent it on a new path, and he told everyone, "Rao, protect whoever that comet finds next." It eventually found its way to Earth, where a piece of it broke off and it crash landed on the planet's surface. It was 50,000 years ago in Earth's history, and we had nothing more than cavemen at that time. Two men from a tribe approached the piece of comet, and as they got close, they felt the power that it gave to them. One man took its power and he killed the other man at the comet, his own father and the chief of his tribe. Then he stepped out, declaring that he would be the new tribal chief. The people didn't follow him though, and while this man offered them strength, they chose death. Back in the current day, Superman is tired of being powerless. He decided to try whatever it takes to become powered up again, and he goes to his friends John Steele and Lana Lang. John has created something to help replicate Superman's powers, but if he uses it, it might kill him. In the year 121 AD China, our caveman has taken the name Savage, Vandal Savage. The comet has granted him immortality, and along with enhanced strength, speed, intelligence, and stamina, he has lived a long lifespan, and he's decided to create the world's strongest clan and become its leader. But to this end, he has traveled to China in hopes of learning the methods of the Hans, only to find it to be a court of backhanded dealings and petty rivalries. He decides to stay in the court to learn from their astronomer though, and to reveal his secret to this man. This is when Vandal Savage learned of something more than conquering the world, a way to gain more power. The astronomer showed him his comet on a constant, reoccurring path over the planet. He demanded to know when it might return, but the astronomer was concerned that Savage would become warped by this power, and he refused to tell him when it would return. So Savage killed his friend. Meanwhile, in the present day, Superman gets a call from the Justice League. Lex Luthor has been on the League ever since the events of Forever Evil, and he calls up the biggest and strongest of the League for an event out in space, but he doesn't call up Superman. Deciding Lex is trying to put him in his place, Superman goes up to the Watchtower anyway. The man that was once Earth's greatest savior is forced to watch as they load up a ship and they leave him on the Justice League Watchtower. Even Wonder Woman tells him that he needs to stay back to protect Earth in case everyone else fails. Back in Rome, 1543, Savage finally discovers when the comet is returning, but he is being forced to watch as it passes overhead. There is no technology great enough to get him into space. Up in the Watchtower in present day, Superman is forced to deal with the fact that he is useless. Lex Luthor even put blocks to keep Superman from taking a power suit or anything that could possibly follow the League. It was either to protect Superman or to mock him for his lack of power now. Either way, Superman can't follow. Back in Germany, 1941, Vandal Savage is a part of a space program in which they launched a rocket towards the comet. But it wasn't Savage that got the power boost, it was his co-pilot. In the present, a call for Superman comes across, and he heads down to Earth to stop an oil tanker from falling into the water. The people cheer for him, and he realizes that maybe this is the good he can do. Maybe he can do this. And that's when something weird happens. The Justice League Watchtower begins to enter low orbit. Superman can tell that it's weird, but it gets weirder when the Stormwatch carrier appears and absorbs the Watchtower. A surge hits the ground, dropping civilians everywhere, and Superman realizes this is a problem. The pilot of the Stormwatch carrier is Vandal Savage and his children. It's time for the comet to pass overhead again, and this time, Vandal Savage won't lose out. As Superman runs around the city trying to save whoever he can by running, not flying, he gets a report report from Wonder Woman. Savage has captured the League. He has hit them with the same power-draining attacks that he's been using on Superman. But as she is trying to warn Superman, Savage grabs her and takes her comms. You know, Superman, this wouldn't be possible if I didn't steal your power first. What the hell are you planning, Savage? Ha! You think I'm just going to tell you? You always try to save the world, Superman, but you never change the world. And I'm going to change everything. Savage fires the ship's lasers upon Metropolis, killing hundreds. And Superman jumps in, saving the only one that he can. He can't save anyone like this. He runs to the bridge, trying to stop a school bus from falling into the bay. And at that moment, more of his friends arrive. The Justice League United. They take over the relief efforts while Steel gets Superman back to the lab, where Superman demands to use Steel's answer to restoring his powers. Steel explains that it's a power suit powered by kryptonite. It'll kill Superman in about an hour. Any normal human would die in minutes. Ignoring his own health, Superman suits up along with Atom, and the two of them get back into action with the rest of Justice League United, saving as many people as they can. While it might just be a suit, it is replicating Superman's old powers, and after they rescue as many as they can, they take the fight to the Stormwatch carrier. Justice League United gets into it with as many of Savage's followers as they can, and Superman flies into the room where he finds Wonder Woman hooked up to a device draining her of her power, and he frees her. Then, looking past her, he can see all of the energy drained out of her. That's when Savage shows up. That's the power that you and your kind have wasted for generations. And now I'm going to kill you with it. But not all of Savage's children are on board with the mass killings, and the one called Wrath tackles him, pushing him down into the collected power. An explosion goes off in the carrier, and then the energy surges through everyone on board, knocking them all out, just as it throws Superman and Wonder Woman out of the ship. Savage demands a damage report from Hodor Root, and he tells them that while they lost one subject, all of the breaches have been sealed and they just gained 6 more subjects. They've captured Justice League United. Superman and Wonder Woman crash land onto the planet's surface, and Superman's suit breaks open. Superman is now dying of kryptonite poisoning, and Vandal Savage is winning. So Wonder Woman brings him to the only beings that she knows that can save him and keep him from dying: Artemis, Hermes, Strife, Eros, and Hephaestus, the gods. She begs them to save the man that she loves. They debate if he is worth their effort, but it's Hades who decides that they should put him through a series of challenges to prove his worth. They send him through these challenges to test his very nature, and he proves that even without his powers, he'll never quit. He'll always find a way. As a reward, Superman is purged of the kryptonite poisoning his system. Wonder Woman did save him, but he was made fully powerless. No longer did he have any kind of power. Now powerless, Superman heads off to get a favor from Steve Trevor, Wonder Woman's last boyfriend. He's figured out the reason that he can't power back up, and that's because his cells have mutated to the point where they are unable to absorb solar energy. He wants to burn those cells away and make way for healthy ones that can absorb the energy. So he wants Steve Trevor to bring him to the largest deposit of kryptonite kept by Argus and use it as a form of chemotherapy. It's a theory that he has formed based on what happened in the kryptonite suit. They enter the Argus facility just as Puzzler, another of Vandal Savage's children, attacks it. Realizing that he can't stop anything like this, Superman lets Argus's defenses handle it while he runs over to the kryptonite deposits. It drops him right away with its normal effects, but as Puzzler breaks through the walls, everyone leaves Superman there. Seeing no other option, he drags himself to the kryptonite, where he pulls himself up onto a pile of it. That's when it happens. Something fantastic. Superman is powered up, but with kryptonite. He breaks out of the kryptonite cell, and he flies right over to Puzzler, and in a single punch, he shatters the Puzzler robot body. Steve Trevor and Argus walk over to inform Superman that yes, it worked, but he isn't using his old powers. He's powering up in new and unpredictable ways. The mutated cells didn't die. They are absorbing the kryptonite to give him his powers. What's worse than that is that it's actually killing off the healthy cells in his body in a battle inside of him. Superman takes off to the sky, flying again, and he runs into Wonder Woman. Steve called her and told her what's going on, but the fact that he's dying is besides the point right now. They need to get to work stopping Savage. Superman flies up to the ship only to have another of Vandal Savage's children jump out and plow into Superman mid-flight. Superman hits him hard, declaring, "I'm back!" Then as the child struggles, Superman takes aim and slams him into the ground below. He grabs a car and he throws it at the diner nearby, so Superman uses his speed to get in the way, and then he uses it as a weapon against the child. Knocking his helmet off, he reveals that he really is a child given the body of a god. He kicks Superman in the gut, throwing him to the ground, and their fight continues. While this is going on, Wonder Woman continued to fly up to the carrier to see what Savage's plan is, and she sees him fire a laser into Jupiter, increasing its mass and increasing its gravitational pull. Back back with Superman, he realizes that the kid was a distraction, and using his new kryptonite-based powers, he senses interesting radio waves coming from the Arctic, from the Fortress of Solitude. He tells Wonder Woman to round up the child, and then using his super speed, he flies out there to find. Savage is now trying to steal the Fortress of Solitude to add to his carrier. He's stealing Superman's home. Luckily, Superman has some power. This story will continue next week with the conclusion of how Superman returns back to us. I hope you guys are enjoying it up to this point, and I'll see you next week. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Comicstorian, follow us on Instagram at Comicstorian, and don't forget to check out our gaming channel where you can find me right now giving you gaming comic books, let's plays, and other things such as unnecessary censorship. It's known as Eligible Monster, and you can find the link down below.